We're going to go ahead and look at solving absolute value equations. Well, to solve an absolute value equation, we're going to look at the graphical point of view first. So let's go ahead and look at graphing the absolute value side, and then we'll graph the other side, which was 4. To graph the absolute value side, we want to take a look at what's on the inside of our absolute value, set it equal to 0, because an absolute value graph is the shape of a V. Looking at when the inside is going to be 0 allows us to find the point of the V, and then we can try points on each side. So we set the inside equal to 0, add the 8 to both sides, divide by the 2, and we get 4. So we're going to start our chart out with 4 in the middle, choose some points on each side, plug those into the blue, and now all we have to do is plot those points, draw in our graphs, so we have our blue absolute value, the shape of the V, and then we have our red. You'll notice the red and the blue cross twice. And so when does our absolute value equal 4? Well, there's 2 times. You'll see we have it at 2 and at 6. So let's look at this a little bit farther in more depth and more detail. We started off with our original absolute value graph. But remember, if what's about absolute value, if what's on the inside is positive, absolute value does nothing. And so that's what we have here in the green, which is really the green half of our absolute value graph over here. And then remember, if what's on the inside is negative, absolute value makes it positive by taking the opposite of that, because we had said the inside was negative, and the opposite of a negative is a positive. Well, if you would distribute this through, you would get this here, and that is your other half over here in purple. So when does our absolute value equal to 4? Well, our red crosses the green once, and the green is when the inside's positive. We also have the purple crossing the red once, and that was purple was when the inside was negative. So in other words, we need to look at when it crosses over here the green, and that's when the inside was positive and absolute value did nothing, and that was this right here, equaling the red. And then we also had to consider the situation where when the inside was negative, it made it positive by taking the opposite, that's the purple, equaling the red. And then all we have to do is just solve each one of those. So we distribute through the negative, subtract the 8 here, add the 8 on both sides here, divide by the negative 2 here, and divide both sides by the 6, by the 2 here. And we get our 2 answers from an algebraic point of view and the graphical point of view.